right? So it's a different kind of setting. It's a different kind of understanding about the way this adversary works. While the adversary is creating Illuminatis, right, and Wizard of Oz's over there for the edification of the masses, how do you not know that the real pestilence hasn't been planted over here? See, I'm very interested in why global villages exist. I'm very interested in the roots of evil. And I'm no longer thinking it's just a matter of the big Goliath up there and the big shadow on the wall that everybody thinks is so awful. Yeah, it's partly that. That comes from somewhere. But there's a far more intricate mechanism. And there's a very intricate way to get out of it. And ultimately speaking, in a global context of the world having to deal with this problem, not just individuals, it is a healing process. And therefore I am absolutely optimistic because it takes time.
Yeah. Suffering and healing.
Yeah.
It's necessary.
That's right. And then it's spending too much time. We addressed this in the second DVD of Architects of Control. It is fun to think what the goal will be, what kind of shining citadels, what we'll be doing. In a way, that's all right to a point. But to be always sitting and thinking, where are we going to be tomorrow and what kind of ascension are we going to have, is also plays right back into the problem again. So what about tomorrow? Whatever's going to be there is going to be there. Worry about the weeds that are under your feet now. So there's again a need for a certain amount of pragmatism, a certain amount of practicality in all of this. But what you're talking about is how then to abstract mass groups from this hideous Leviathan, to give them hope, to give them optimism, to move on to the next level. That's very vital too. I'm not ruling anything out. People they are underpowered. They are terribly, desperately feeling futility. Depression and stress is related to it. And disease is related to it.
Yeah, I think it's about bringing, the signals of Thoth, I think, would probably mean a lot to you. These things that are present for everybody to see, especially when they're exposed before them, because all of these things are there now. And this concept of the signals of Thoth has, I've followed that one for years, and now see these things happening. So, but throughout the philosophies that I've investigated and so on, there's this constant theme that one must act or be seen to act upon. It's there in Grail lore. It's there in so many other aspects. So, again, as I say, I can't really discuss the concept in such great detail on something like this, but it's to do with that underlying philosophy about taking action, but the right action at the right time, in the right place.
Yeah, but the thing is, we've been always looking
as a way, hopefully, of stopping the reactions that we're seeing building up around us, which are, in fact, the revolutionary ones. And, this is affecting society. It's about taking something practical or being seen to be doing it, standing up for ourselves, basically.
Well, then maybe you can answer my question then. How can you expect a man to act rightly, as you say, with right guidance, when every single second of his life he's been relying on Big Brother or some other external authority to give him that guidance?
By knowing himself.
That's right. So the process is that people who have become so dependent on the lie, right, or the ideas of reality provided, packaged, and manufactured by this unbelievable system, to make them go cold turkey. I've talked about this sort of gray area between different states of consciousness. We're in one now, the so-called age of awakening that you, Mike, were asking about earlier in the beginning, is basically can be defined that way. It's a gray area between two great paradigm shifts. There are many, I believe, who will never be able to move through that because they're going to be they're so embedded in the old system, they can never change, and they will just fall with the previous system. And then there's those who are flexible enough to embody or be called by, let's say, awaken to the other kind of system. But the problem is that human beings don't even have now the basic rooting, cultural, racial, or other. They've relied on so many external authorities for guidance that the moment that you pull away those Saturnian, Martian, solar props, those handrails, they fall to pieces.
Yeah.
Or let's say in the middle of the fall, they're more ready to be vulnerable to a bunch of other charlatans who come in with mini props to say, no, over here. And what we got to look at, we kind of touched on this earlier, what we have to watch out for and be very, very vigilant now in the future is that they're, through the media and through various cults and sects and the promissory note of this leader and this guru and this cult will, because community collectivism is rampant. The big solution when people start to fall apart is to re-collectivize. In fact, the global village is nothing more than the most extreme version of collectivism that you can imagine. It's the hardest and most, it's the epitome of this herd mentality. But there's many other mini pyramids that can be created by various gurus and teachers and leaders, sort of Eckhart Tolle, quote unquote, types, who maybe you don't see it happening, but they're putting in the first building blocks of this. Because the moment that the people feel more and more psychotic, more and more disabled, more and more afraid of their own emotions, more unable to make their own decisions, they lean all the more. Like I said, somebody's buying those billions and billions of dollars worth of drugs. Somebody's stressed out to the max. Somebody's relying on the system. You can create a system, but people don't have to buy into it. I'm interested in why people are buying into the systems that Big Brother create without a whimper. Why they accept this smiling depression. It's because they are already being raped from within.
Yeah, subconsciously.
Right.
I'm hearing nothing here that I disagree with in any way or form. It's been amazing listening to you. What I'm proposing interlocks quite nicely with that. I'd love to discuss this at some future point with you. It's about the Hermetic philosophy underlying this. I'm blown away here. It's great. Carry on.
I definitely want to check out your ideas. I want to look at your website and get more interested.
Tell the audience your website, please, Mark.
markcocking.co.uk. We'll sort that out after.
Absolutely. And we've got mirrors of some of your work on northeasttruth.com, namely the first 3 parts of your mini essay called A Synthesis. So I think that would be definitely something relevant that our audience would enjoy. 100%. It's definitely relevant to the show, and it's definitely relevant to areas of Hermetic Code and Trinity, Sevenfold Way, that type of thing. So I would recommend that to everyone listening as well.
Yeah, thanks for your questions. They're brilliant, Mark. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for listening. Great.
Absolutely. Okay, I know we're running.
We've taken up a huge amount of your time tonight, haven't we, Michael?
It's okay. Just one point I would add is, you see, what I was really trying to say there is that my speciality is more in the inner individual, the psychology. That doesn't mean that I have all the answers with other areas. Like I said before, there's specialists. There's people who know, who are brilliant at galvanizing other people in collectivist groups, in groups that are more needing to say, we've got this one piece, now we need to move on to this, and hand tools to other people. See, that's not my forte. So it's not about, again, here we're back to that thing again about the knights at the table. It's not one person who has the answer. It is a certain amount of individuals who've got a specialistic expertise that then can offer these tools to people who want to jump to that. I'm not a fool. I know that people look at my stuff and go, you must be crazy. I don't even know what he's even talking about. I'm all right with that. I don't have a problem. I never want to beat people over the head with it. In fact, it was a complete accident I even started doing this work in the first place. I didn't want to do it. So it's, my interests were in other areas. So I have and look at all the mentors I've had. So it's absolutely about brilliant, genius people coming together and saying, I got this piece. But making sure that we don't all fight each other and get into ego battles, which has often happened in the past. I've seen this happen all around me and in other areas. And this is absolutely, redundant. This is really primitive, and that's not going to, lead anywhere.
No, it's a branch line, isn't it, that they often try and deflect us down, get us squabbling amongst each other and competing for status and all the rest of it. It's a false dichotomy.
Absolutely. Sun Tzu quite a lot, haven't they? So, I mean, just to name one name of there. But yeah, I mean, I just want to thank everyone listening for this long, those of us that have gone the full 3 hours, 29 minutes, 55 seconds. We will persevere to get this. There are a few little things we need to edit before we put it online within 24 hours. Massive thanks to everyone who called in. Obviously, thanks for you, Michael, for sparing us your time. Just to remind folks, check us out on northeasttruth.com. Check out our hosts, tnsradio.ning.com. And a reminder that Ian Crane is coming to the Northeast on September the 11th, and that's at the Redcar Road, South Bank, Middlesbrough Baptist Church, £5 on the door. Anything further any of you guys just want to say before we set the music away and say goodnight?
Oh, I think when I referred to the ARC talk that I've got, it's not on MSAR TV YouTube, it's on Unslaved Films. That's the channel that I use for all my interviews.
Yeah.
And it's just people go to youtube.com/Unslaved Films. They'll find the link there.
We should also thank Angela and Stevie Gibbons and all the lads that helped and lasses that helped put tonight's show and every show together.
Absolutely.
The unsung heroes.
Definitely.
Hi, Angela.
She'll be joining us shortly. So, okay, guys, it's been great. We hope to speak to you again at some point in the future, Michael.
I'd be delighted to do that, guys. It was really enjoyable. So thanks for the opportunity. I really appreciate it, and great work that you guys are doing as well.
Absolute pleasure to talk to you, and more so to listen to you tonight, Michael. It's been fantastic.
Cheers, guys. Talk soon.